And we are ready for our next run here. We have Hylics 2, any percent, run by RJsmangit. Take it away.
Thank you so much. Like you said, I'm RJ. I'm going to be running Hylics 2, any percent for y'all. If you're intrigued by the title screen, I can only assure you that it's going to get worse. But why don't we just get this thing started so y'all can find out. We'll start the run on go. 3, 2, 1, go. Ready? So 3, 2, 1, go. So interesting thing about this cutscene, it's the only cutscene that we can actually skip in the run, but it's not very long and it's pretty interesting. So I want y'all to watch it. This is a Wayne larva, if you're curious. There will be quizzes on what everything is called at the end, so please pay attention. All right, so we're going to set our run to automatic just so we don't have to deal with that for the run. And the incentive for his suit, is it still just indigo?
Let me refresh here.
We could change.
And we have indigo, yes.
Perfect. That's the better costume anyway. So real quick, we're going to run down into Wayne's basement here. We're going to pick up juice because I have a feeling there's a guy in the next town who's quite thirsty, and I really want to get into his house. But before we get out of here, we're going to do ourselves a favor and pet our Wayne larva. 10 out of 10 game. You can pet the dog, so everyone should play it. Anyway, we're out of here. All right, this is the world map. It's just kind of like the regular game zoomed out over a big area. Don't worry about that guy dancing there. He's pretty cool, though. Run right over to our first town here. This is New Moldal. We have a couple things we're going to do here. One of the things we'll be doing is collecting some coins. And jumping into this hole. Because I think there's a thirsty man down here. I mentioned the thirsty person. I'm pretty sure they're down here. Oh, boy. We didn't want to aggro this person. So we're going to have him chase us all the way around. Don't leave me alone. We don't want to get into any fights here. And all of the red enemies on the overworld are bad people. So we're going to avoid them. There's some coins in the water here that we need to get. And here's our thirsty person. In turn, giving him some juice, he gives us the key to his house, which we will gladly oblige and go to. Because in this house is one of our first skills of the game. It's called Soul Crisper. We learned all of our skills by watching television, so anybody tells you TV is not good for you, they are lying. You can learn a lot of interesting things from it. And the good thing about skills in this game, there's no like weaknesses or the opposite of weakness, strengths. So Soul Crisper looks like it does fire, but it really doesn't. It's just an animation. This is our first party member, Pangorma, and with recruiting Pangorma, we actually get this fun ability that lets us air dash and move really a lot quicker now. So we'll be doing some nice schmovement. Back on the world map. We're going to make a quick detour to this area. This is called the excavation site. There's not anything actual trigger-wise for like moving the story forward. Sorry, I keep zooming in. But we need to go here so that we can get another one of those skills like Soul Crisper. Pick up an item real quick. This is the brain digits. We'll talk about those in a little bit. We're doing a little bit of a collectathon here. And then here's our next skill, Nematode Interface. And the thing to note about Nematode Interface and Soul Crisper is those are damage over time skills, and they're going to be extremely important for all of the fights we're going to do. Collecting more coins. Jumping on old Wayne's here. Don't worry about it. More money. All right, so recruiting Pangorma, he actually let us know that the person who leads that town we were in has been captured, and it told us where to go get him, so that's what we're going to do. Wayne and Pongorma, the dynamic duo. Pongorma let us know that he's being held captive in this area. This is called Vuax's Edifice. We go actually the wrong way to start there and jump off of the edge of the level, because when you fall into water that's too deep in this game, it actually resets your position, and where it resets us is actually closer to where we need to go. Now I'm gonna make a safety save here just in case. Right, because we have to do a skip here, but we also have to dodge this enemy. So sometimes it could be a little hairy. There, good, nice. Because our good friend's being held captive in this jail cell right here, but it's not a very well-made jail, because we could just, like, you know, walk over it. Over the doors. We don't need keys. Wait. Then we're going to use this item that we've already used a couple of times I haven't talked about yet. This is called the mini crystal. It was an item that was added to the game because people kind of kept getting stuck in places, and it either will reset you to the initial spawn point of the area, or it'll let you go back to Wayne's house, like his bed, where we started the game. So we'll be using that a lot to help us go places that would require us to have other things to get out of, but this is a little confusing, sorry. Zoomed in. It'll let us go back to places that we would otherwise need keys or levers or buttons to get to, so it helps us move around. Nice. I cannot hit the start button. It's not working now. I'm not. Just a sec. My controller seems to not be working.
Well, while you're working on that, I have a few donations for you.
Yeah, go for it.
All right. I have $50 from Cheddar Cheese saying love and support to my bro, RJsmangit. Good luck and I love you, bud. I also have $25 from Jay Fergie Ferrick. Smangarang. Crush the run, my dude. So proud of you.
Well, this is a good demonstration. Usually we don't run into too many enemies, and I don't really get to show off the death animation, so we'll just go ahead and show that off, and hopefully the controller works. But every time you die in this game, this is what happens. Honestly, kind of relatable. Hey, the start menu works again. That's good. So what do we even need to do? I think we're good. So we want to do... I was going to do a menu to equip the attack items we picked up, and then we were going to use our mini crystal, which I was talking about, to go back to Wayne's house. So we're actually pretty okay. Luckily, the controller decided to break in an area that wasn't going to harm us too much. But now that we're back in Wayne's house and we have Deduzmal, our third-party member, we want to go to the sink and wash up real quick because it gives us a status called clean. And clean status is really important for a number of reasons. But what it does is allows us to not take any status effects in battle for the first turn. It's really strong, and that'll come into play in the very... We actually haven't fought anything in the game yet, but we will very shortly, and it'll come in handy right away for that. All right, one of the other people we also saved was this shop owner, and we need him to be here because he has these items called multi-coffees, which are also going to be very important in just a minute. But what they do is they apply caffeinated status, and it keeps us from being put to sleep by enemies. All right, now that our good friend Blelroll is back in town leading the way, he's going to give us a key to his airship, and then we're going to actually get to watch this very interesting cutscene of this group of people resurrecting or attempting to resurrect the bad guy from the first Hylics, Gibby. Yes, his name is Gibby. So you could probably say that this is almost like the iCarly reboot that we all deserved instead of the one we got.
Well, I have another donation for you.
Yeah, let's go.
$10 from Genesic Gunleon with no donation comment, but thank you very, very much. And just a reminder, we have a few bid wars or bid incentives open. Get it in now. We're in the run there for.
Okay, now that we have the key to our good friend Belroll's airship, that's like a tongue twister, Belroll. But we get to use his airship now. It's just over here behind this locked gate and up this hill. And the thing is, anytime it looks like I could probably be air dashing and I'm not, it's most likely because the perspective is throwing things off. We're moving uphill and you can't dodge or air dash uphill. You can only air dash in like a flat space or like even with the height you start at. Now we get some chill airship music. We're gonna make another detour, and the last real detour of the run, to pick up arguably the most important skill. We already picked up Soul Crisper and Nematode Interface, but we have one more skill that is probably the most important skill in the whole game to getting through this run with minimal fighting anything else and whatnot. This is called Charge Up. And one thing you'll notice about this game once we actually get into fights is that there are no leveling up, there's no EXP, there's no stat increases, there's nothing like that. The only way you can increase your health or attack or speed or anything like that is by equipping equipment. So that skill, Charge Up, what it does is it enhances a skill that already exists. So like we'll charge up the Desmond special skill. We'll talk about it when we use it. And adds added effects to it. Hello, let me land, please. Thank you. Landing okay. Thank you, game. Right, now we're in the Juice Ranch. We can just ignore everything that's going on there. Don't even worry about it. Don't even look at it. Because we're going to go up here and go right into our very first fight of the game. And we'll also be getting our fourth party member, Sam Snosa. So we'll start the fight off right away by hitting that guy on the left or on the right. That's an Electrolan. Every time it gets hit, it retaliates by putting everybody to sleep. But since we went to the Sink and Wayne's house and got clean status, it won't put us to sleep. It's only going to put the enemies to sleep. And Samsnosa, because she wasn't with us, so she's not clean. But then we're going to go ahead and use our multi-coffees now that clean status is wearing off. So now we can't be put to sleep even more. We're so awake right now. And then we're just going to kind of work on all of the enemies here using our damage over time skills. Soul Crisper and Nematode Interface. Because all of the damage in this game will play out the same way every single time. We know how much damage everything's going to do. So we're kind of coordinating this where we'll end up killing everything at the same time and not have to get any attacks from them. We don't have to worry about our health or anything like that. Because you'll notice, like, that was a mistake. Whoops. Don't worry about it. We'll be fine. We're supposed to keep him alive for one more turn. But you'll notice that animations in this game are really slow. So any opportunity we get to not use animations, or not have animations happen from enemies, we'll take that every time. There we go. Nice and easy. Pretty painless. Now, Samsnos is with us permanently. She gives us a key to our next destination, but first we're going to raid her fridge for not food, but, you know, another attack item. They're called the pleather gauges. Where am I? A little confused. Here we go. Talk to this guy. He gives us a sweet poncho, and now we're going to do a quick menu. And your poncho. Wait. There we go. Little turned around because there's a little bit of a cursor glitch where once you try to go to people, it'll actually scroll down 2 people instead of just 1, and that threw me off. I didn't know who I was looking at first. But all of the menuing we're doing, we're just adjusting the equipment to make sure that as many party members that we have can be faster than the next boss we're going to fight. right, we're going into this area. This is called Worm Pod Maze. It has a pretty interesting mechanic. The maze only shows up as you run through it. So it's a little awkward, but we know where we're going, so we'll be all right. And it's important to kind of move through this as cleanly as possible, because we could beat the cycle for an enemy that we're going to run past as long as we can move pretty cleanly. So far, so good. I think we'll get there. Let's see. There he is. And just made it, actually. That's a lot closer than maybe it looked. Because hitboxes in this game are... I'll probably use the word strange a lot, but hitboxes are definitely strange. And just like that, we're to our next boss. This is the... here, let's read it. The Fonthin Trollpine, or as I call it, the Worm. So now we're going to see our first instance of using Charge Up with the Duzball, while we use our damage over time skills with the other party members. We'll use Soul Crisper with Bongorma. It doesn't matter who uses these damage over time skills, because like I said, the damage values are going to be the same. As long as we use the skills, it'll end up being the same amount of damage every time. The Worm always starts its turn by using Accelerate, and what Accelerate does for Mr. Worm is that it allows it to use attack twice every turn. So while we do that, we're going to use the Duzmoln skill Foam Armor, and what it does when it's charged up is instead of applying it to one person, it applies it to the entire party. And Foam Armor is kind of busted, because what it does is it does a full heal, first of all, and then it adds 50 health to every person on top of it. So basically that 50 extra health that we get is kind of the reason we can even make it through the run without ever having to go to the afterlife. So it's super important. And now we're just going to kind of snap. We're going to let the damage over time skills work on the enemy here. We're hoping Wayne doesn't get hit again, because the only thing that's a real problem here is if enemies get focused down. He's still alive, which is kind of nice. I don't think I've ever seen somebody take 3 hits and live. So we should be all right. Even the Worm shouldn't get another turn here. We're going to re-up Soul Crisper real quick, just so we hit the right damage values. And he's done.
Excellent. I have another donation for you.
Do it.
I have $5 from K-Lock saying, "Let's go, RJ."
All right.
This is trippy AF.
No idea what they're talking about.
Not a clue.
Not a clue.
But do you know anything about how the art style came to be?
Oh, I sure do. I'm glad you brought that up, because I would have probably forgot about it. So the art of this game is a combination of clay 3D models, pixel art, and stop motion animation. The creator of the game actually molds most of like the 3-dimensional things in this game by hand, and he'll scan them into Unity and animate them in Blender. So like this ship is hand molded clay feature of the game. This island is made out of clay. Most of the enemies you'll see are made out of clay. And what's interesting like about their movements, like the black hands or the black gloves, are the developer's own hands that he green screen. He puts his arm through like a cardboard box that's green, like a green screen, and does all of the hand animations himself, and then crops himself out with the green screen and stuff. It's very interesting. One of the most unique art styles of a game I've ever seen. Here we go. This area is called Foglast. Usually there's a lot of back and forth here about hitting... Oh, we didn't make it. That's okay. Let's run to the side. I didn't get enough height on one of the jumps. We just gotta be careful. There's an enemy that lurks around here that's a little scary. If you happen to get it, oh gosh. We have everybody after us. Leave me alone. Okay. Whoa! Okay. What was that hitbox? That's okay. So we're gonna have to use our perish skill again. If you get into a fight with something you're not supposed to in this game, it is such like a time dump to actually get through the fight. Let's go back to Wayne's house. And that was all because we were a little off cycle with the enemy movement. So we're unfortunately gonna have to hear the nice chill flying music again and fly back to that island. I thought I was really going to jump over it there, but, you know, these things happen. So comfy. Sometimes I like to just, like, fly around in the ship and listen to the music. But hopefully on our second pass through here, we'll do the movement better, and we'll see how it's supposed to be done. All right, back in. You'll notice, I think we slapped him the first time. We did. We hit this guy. It actually exploded. The only way to get health back in this game is by slapping the little yellow crawly things on the ground. They call them bugs in the game. But sometimes there's larger people or NPCs or anything like that that also function the same way, and that guy happens to function that. And I didn't know that until very recently. A new runner picked up the game, and I saw them do it in their VOD, and I'm like, well, I'm totally doing that now, because it actually helps us save a little time later. Here we're going to do our second skip of the run, which involves flying up in the air. We're going to save, we're going to load, and then we're going to hold back and hopefully land on this. Nice. And then we're going to use our mini crystal again, our patented mini crystal. But for some reason, when you use the mini crystal and you're in the air, and you land on a flat ground to use the mini crystal, it thinks you're still on flat ground, and it lets you jump while in midair. Gives us enough height to actually jump across that area without going through the trouble of lowering the bridge. But we still need to hit one button in the area, which is just right over here. The enemy that's like walking down the hallway here doesn't really do anything. I don't know what their deal is, but I'm not going to ask either. So another menu. Glove boot. And again, that's just to jostle our equipment around, where our strongest attack item goes to Pangorma because he has the strongest base attack. So we always want him doing damage. And then to juggle our speed items around so everybody is faster than the boss we're about to fight. This is Odazir and Karsuro. Odazir on the left, Karsuro on the right. So this is probably the toughest fight in the game just because we have to deal with two enemies at once. We don't generally find ourselves dealing with two enemies when we're doing boss fights. The Duzmoln's going to use his charge up skill again. We're going to use our charge foam armor for the 50 extra health on all of our people. Meanwhile, we're going to start off by, unwrapping Karsuro, who's going to use either one of two attacks, Whip or I think it's called Gizzard Splume is the attack, and he chose Whip. But what you'll notice here is, oops, wrong person. Every time you unwrap Karsuro on the right, Odazir has to spend a turn rewrapping him. So we're using that to our advantage. So we're fighting two people, but we only have to deal with one at a time while they're both alive. Here we have to do a little bit of on-the-fly routing here. We accidentally messed up the turn order a bit. But we should be okay. All right, now that we have all of our status effects up on Karsuro, we're going to start applying some status effects to Odazir just so we can start whittling down his health a little bit. You'll notice a little soup thing that's floating by our characters. That's called vulnerability. And vulnerability is a little scary because what it does is it makes their next hit, that if they happen to get hit here, they'll take double damage. So if he hits Pangorma, which he did, he's going to die. That's unfun for all of us. You're just going to slow the fight down a little bit. Keep working on Karsuro here. At this point, now that we have some damage on Odazir, we're going to want to make sure we're just going to get rid of Karsuro for good here. And we're going to unwrap. And one more time with Wayne. And then I'm actually going to heal the Duzmoln. Or Samsnosa, just kidding. It ate an input. Oh well. So hopefully the Desmond doesn't get hit here. That's fine. She'll still live. That's actually a good attack because it stuns him after he uses lightning. We need to re-up some stuff here. This fight's gonna take a while. And now we're just gonna keep kind of hitting them, hoping that our damage over time skills could do all the work for us and get us right out of this fight.
All right, well, I have a few more donations for you then.
Go for it, yes.
I have $25 from Rar Goes the Lion. Keep it weird and smamtastic.
Definitely lots of snapping.
We have $25 from Crimson Green. What do Earthbound, Hylics 2, and Omori have in common? RJsmangit speedruns it and involves coffee. Coincidence? I think not.
Definitely not. Crimson Green knows exactly what's going on in my world.
And I have one last one here for you. It's $50 from Proxy Glitch Cat. I just played both of these games this year, and I'm excited to see someone speedrunning such a normal, ordinary game.
That's right.
Best of luck with the run.
Thank you so much. All right, so we're about to go right back into another fight, so we took a second to go and heal up here. Unfortunately, we could not stop the cult from resurrecting Gibby. He's going to come out right now, and we're going to try and deal with him. And if you have played both Hylics, if you played Hylics 1, you'll notice that this boss music is actually the final boss music of the first game, which is kind of cool because they bring some of it back into this game. So we're going to start off this turn just like we would with any other fight. We're going to use our damage over time skills. And then we're going to hope that Gibby doesn't use this move called Redivivis, or something like that. It's where he throws a big stick of dynamite at us, so we don't want to see that. Start our charge up. And then Pongorma will use his nematode interface. All right, no Redivivis. Of course, marathon luck. Here it comes. Well, at least the animation's kind of fun. Maybe a little bit excessive. Like, how many mushroom claws do you really need? Like, come on, I get it. You did the move. Let's move on here. Oh my god. But anyway, I am just kidding. We are supposed to lose that fight. We're not supposed to win, but... So we go right into a cutscene. Gibby's supposed to beat us here, send us to the afterlife. And in the meantime, he's going to resurrect his castle up in the sky. So, little cutscene. If you have anything to say, there's a little bit of time here.
Sure thing. To incentivize you all to donate, we have some prizes that are available until Final Fantasy II Pixel Remaster. There are some various plushies. We have some trading cards and some collector's editions of the games that are going to be that have been run and will run.
As a result of Gibby's castle being resurrected, it'll turn all the people kind of back into these, I don't know, they weren't really people to begin with, but now they look even more ridiculous, but they're kind of like a throwback to the first game as well. They're actually bugs now. But here we are in the afterlife for real. Sorry, I keep zooming in. Every time you die in this game, you go to the afterlife. There's no game overs, which is kind of cool. And there's a couple things you could do in the afterlife. You could get clean if you want. You can go to the meat grinder and grind up your meat that you got from winning all of the fights. Where is it? There we go. We're also going to use these items we picked up kind of just because they're called muscle appliques. They just raise the attack permanently of a party member by 1. We had 2 of them. We used them both on Pongorma. And why we did use the meat grinder is that is the only way to increase your health permanently. So the last boss isn't very hard, but he does do a lot of damage. And we need the little bit of meat that we get from fighting the few fights in this game just so we can live some of those attacks. So we'll use that meat grinder to permanently raise everybody's health in the party. You'll notice we flew past this area earlier. It looks a lot more wiry than before. That's because we have a sky castle here. This is Gibby's castle. It's called Highland Xylem. Because, sure. Landing okay. You always like to see that. In this game and in real life. Here we go. Highland Xylem's a big old dungeon. We're just going to be kind of running back and forth. I'm running on the edge here because it keeps that red furry-looking guy from being aggroed to us. And we don't want him to be aggroed. We don't want to, like I said, we don't want to fight anything. Because if we get into a fight at this point, right now, not so bad, but we're going to lose a decent chunk of time because we can't actually win any fights. So we need to kind of die and then fly back up here. Well, we collected our first key so we can get into this door. We need to dodge this guy. Nice. There is a roll mechanic, as you just saw. I don't use it a ton. There's some enemies in this game that I just cannot seem to roll through no matter how hard I try. So, but luckily that one we do, and the dodge actually happens to work out nicely for us. So once we entered Highland Xylem, all of the enemies that kind of walk on a pattern started doing that pattern. So as long as my movement is clean, I know exactly where all of the enemies are going to be. This is one of the enemies where no matter what I have done, I cannot seem to dodge. I think it's because it's walking away from us. Its hitbox is lagging behind or something like that. But I cannot roll through it, so I have to kind of wait for it. But here we go. We flip the switch. There's 2 reservoirs in this area. We're draining the first one. We actually sank into the first one after getting the key. It was the pink goo that we were sinking in. This is going to be a little scary. Please fall down the hole. Please fall down the hole. Thank you. All right. Another menu. Wrong person. Leather gauge, remove. And again, just jostling our equipment, so now that the next boss we fight, everybody will be faster than said boss. And we gave our strongest equipment, which was the Psychic Knuckles that we just picked up out of that sarcophagus. We gave it to Pangorma. Enjoy the riffs. This game has nice guitar riffs through it, the whole thing. I've heard the last time I ran this in something, it was referred to as prog rock, the prog rock album, the video game. And I can't get that out of my head. It just sounds like such a perfect description of this game. All right, here we go. We have one more dodge. Hopefully we get it. Nice. There's still stuff that could be in the way, but that's like the last forced time we're gonna have to dodge. All right, save. And then we're gonna load that save. And what saving and loading does is manipulates our spawn point for the mini crystal. So like our initial spawn is now that spawn point. And that'll help us save a little bit of time as we fall down this hole. Instead of having to run all the way around and back up the stairs or anything, we can just use the mini crystal. And go right back to where we saved, without having to do them. There's one enemy. Where is it? Oh boy. Don't notice me. I'm not here. Thank you. Woo, that was scary. The higher up that enemy is, it was doing nothing, which is amazing for us, but the higher up that enemy is, the scarier it is, because we have to get through this door, and it will chase us as we stand there and wait for the door to open. And just like that, we're at the last boss here. We're actually going to fight Gibby for real this time. I promise it's not going to be a debate where I'm pretending to fight and we're not going to win, but this is for real. Also one of the better songs in the game. But, we're going to keep doing our normal strategy that we do when we fight everything in this game. Deduzmold's going to charge up, and we're going to use the damage over time skills on all of the enemies. And I never got a chance to mention Wayne's special skill, which is also a damage over time skill, but it's called Disillusion. And what it does is it lowers the enemy's attack by 20%, which is kind of nice. Because it helps us hit these damage thresholds where if we were to take a hit, like right now, it won't kill anyone. And we're about to see that. So like if he targets the Deduzmold here, he didn't. He's going to target Pangorma, which is totally fine. Interesting move, huh? The computer turns into a big blob of meat, and then a hand comes out of it. Interestingly enough, this song in the game is called Fancy Meat Computer, so I wonder where they came up with that idea. And now that we have our damage over time skills going on, we're just going to snap for a few turns. You see Gibby does have a lot of health, so while this fight may not be incredibly difficult, it does take a while. And he's going to, at any time Gibby is spawning these minions, every time he gets hit, Once he hits 6 minions and it's his turn, he's going to do this move every time. It's called Killer Trees. And what it does is it eliminates all of the minions around him and does like 80% damage to our party, which sounds pretty bad, but it's not for 2 reasons. One, it gets rid of all of the people around him for us without having to do anything, which is great. And 2, we have these items kind of inadvertently called Cloud Germs, and they're full heals and 50% magic refresh. We're going to just keep snapping. There's going to be pretty much a lot of snapping for the rest of this fight with intermittent re-upping of damage over time skills. So this is the last fight of the game, so if you have anything you want to get in, now's a good time.
Well, sure thing. I have another donation for you then, and maybe a question for the end of the run, but I have $50 from the Grundle Squad. When is RJsmangit going to do a 5 Squirrel Suikoden any % run?
Really great question. One that deserves an answer, but I don't know if that answer's coming right now.
Fair enough. We'll wait until the end of the run for that one.
So we're going to go ahead and this is turn 4. We're going to go ahead and re-up 2 of our skills. We're working on his damage. We're watching it carefully because what we're going to hopefully do, and we will do, because like I said, we know the amount of damage we're going to do every time. We're going to make it so when Gibby uses Killer Trees and he's about to die, he only has 1 hit left, so he won't spawn any more enemies. So here's Killer Trees for the second time. We will see it one more time, so if you're like, dang, I really like this skill, I hope I get to see it again, well, your prayers have been answered. Use our last Cloud Germ. What is a Cloud Germ, you might be wondering? Me too. So now we go through a whole full round of snaps. Gibby is all of the enemies in this game are apparently not fans of West Side Story. They hate snapping.
I have a new question for you. Sharks or jets?
Oh man, that's a tough question because I don't know. Well, I'm not sure if I'm thinking about it in terms of the movie or if I think a shark or a jet is cooler. I'm gonna go with sharks. All right, so we're on our last turn here. Pongorma, instead of snapping, is going to use Nematode interface one more time. And after all of the damage over time applies one last time, we're going to notice that he has a very specific health value of 19. And that is exactly as much damage as Deduzmon can do per turn, and he gets to go first. So, nicely coordinated fight where no matter what happens, if Deduzmon happen to die here, whoever gets to attack will always be able to end Gibby without spawning any more minions. And just like that, he's done. We got 99 meat, 99 bones, and his castle explodes. And is customary in Hylics and Hylics 2. For some reason, when you're done, you get to play instruments. So we're going to play these instruments for like a few seconds, just for fun. He says some weird stuff. How mostly a son remembers the foam, I tell you. Interesting. Great stuff. Not a lot of games will let you pet a dog and play instruments and snap a lot. So this game has a lot of positives and like pretty much no negatives. Oh, that's time. Sorry. I totally forgot. Thank you. Gosh. So this cutscene's pretty interesting. It means nothing to the game, but if there's time to watch it, it is pretty fun. Wayne ascending to who knows where. But then the real fun starts.
just perfectly normal game stuff.
You got your Wayne toothpaste? Every time I watch this, I can't help but like laugh at it. You can't tell what's going on with my mask on, but trust me, I'm having a great time under here. Here's the Dusmold's head. Apparently stuff comes out of it. I don't know. Sam Snosa, an avid golfer. Fan favorite of my stream. Everybody loves the Wayne plane. And then just some of the enemies in the game. Some of them we saw, some of them we didn't see. I'm a big fan of just this fish at the end. Look at that. Just like a regular fish. And then a quick little Pongorma breakdance. And one final snap. And there you have it. That was Hylics 2 in all of its glory.
Fantastic stuff. Well, thank you so very much for that. Do you have any shout-outs before we let you go?
Yeah, just shout out RPG Limit Break for letting me show this off. It's such a wacky, fairly unknown game, but I'm glad I get to show it off for all of the people. And, thanks for everybody who donated, all of my friends who popped in to donate during the run. I super appreciate it. And, yeah, that's about it.
All right. Well, I'm going to leave you with one final donation. I have $50 from iHerving. Shout out to the 5th best Parasite Eve runner in the world, RJsmangit.
Oh my God. All right, I take it back. I'm not happy about any of the donations from them.
Well, thank you so much once again for this wonderful run. I can't say that I've ever seen a game quite like that before, and I hope to see something like that again soon. In the meantime, while we're setting up the next game here, it is going to be for Q2. And we have a few bid war incentives that are going to be closing imminently. So if you want to choose, especially the language choice, get that in now. But you have until we get off of ads, which I'm going to throw us over to. And so I'll see you on the other side. Welcome back from that ad break. And it would appear as though our donation machine ate a few donations that were meant for the Neptunia RPG run. But I'm going to read those out now because every donation deserves it. We have $20 from Blue Guitar Things, who says, go, 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 go. We have $10 from Keese. It's important to eat Frosties. I mean, save often. I have $100 from Tyler the driver. Go Lisa! Wish I was there, but it wasn't in the cards this time around. Best of luck. $25 from Storm and the Raptor. And I'm supposed to read this in my best Valley Girl voice, so I apologize in advance. Like, Super Neptunia is so hot right now. Good luck on your run, Lisa. We love you. And $25 from Valder Korn, with no donation comment, but I very much appreciate it anyway. And with that, we're all caught up. If you want anything read on air by me, please send it in. We are getting set up here for the Knights of the Old Republic 2, the Sith Lords. And I suppose I should also tell you why we're even here. I know we're having wonderful video games and all this great entertainment, but we're doing it for a cause. We are raising money for NAMI, the National Alliance for Mental Illness. And so, what do? They are the nation's largest grassroots mental health organization, whose work is focused around 3 pillars: education, support, awareness, and advocacy. There's an extra and in there, but group them together. As far as awareness goes, NAMI drives the national conversation around mental health from coast to coast and across all demographics, having appeared in major media more than any other mental health organization in 2021. 24,000 earned media articles in top-tier outlets include NPR, CBS, CNN, and the BBC. And it's very important that we, have more awareness about mental health and are able to talk about it with each other and with, health professionals and make that just, a part of how we care for ourselves. So it's a great organization and a great cause we're raising money for. So if you have anything that's available for you, that you can feel like you can throw into the pot, every little bit helps. Even $5 or $10, I would love to see all of those roll in here. So let's keep it up throughout the week, and I'll talk to you more later. All right, I'm back here to tell you about some more things. Did you know we have donation prizes? I think I mentioned it a little bit ago, but I want to be a little bit more detailed because, well, we got some time. If during this block that we're in right now, which is now through the Final Fantasy II Remaster race, you can enter to win by donating various amounts here. And I'll tell you what each one is. You can donate $10 to be entered to win in a Hyperdimension Neptunia Mark II. You can donate $5 to get a Knights of the Old Republic plush. $5 to be entered to win Neptunia trading cards. Or $20 for Neptunia Virtual Stars Collector's Edition, and finally $10 for Super Neptunia RPG Special Edition. And if you donate $20, you're entered to win all 5 at once. It's fantastic. And while you're doing that, we have some donation incentives open. Namely, there's still an open glitch exhibition that could be met. We're about halfway there out of the $1,000. And there's still just a few seconds left to name the main character before the run gets started. So if you have an interest in either one of those, what better time to both, meet incentives